Blacktop, Saturday, The Harper Avenue Files. Part 1, The Woman at the Coney. My grandma always said Detroit had two versions. There was the version people talked about, then there was the version people actually lived. According to Grandma Jackie, the people who talked the most usually knew the least. That was one of her favorite sayings. Right behind, if you're grown enough to make a mess, you're grown enough to clean it up. And don't bring nonsense into my house unless it pays rent. Grandma Jackie had enough sayings to fill a church bulletin. I was thinking about all of them as I sat on her front porch one Saturday afternoon, watching Harper Avenue do what Harper Avenue did best live. Kids rode bikes up and down the sidewalk. Music drifted from open windows. Somebody was grilling 3 houses down. Somebody else was arguing loudly enough for the entire neighborhood to participate. Mr. Kareem stood outside his corner store talking to customers like he was the mayor of Detroit. The city felt alive. Summer always did that. Summer made people believe things were possible, even when they probably weren't, especially when they probably weren't. Why are you smiling at nothing? Grandma Jackie asked. I looked over. She sat beside me in a lawn chair, sipping sweet tea and judging the entire neighborhood simultaneously. I'm not smiling at nothing. You smiling. I was thinking, Grandma Jackie nodded. That's usually when trouble starts. I laughed. That's rude. It's accurate. Before I could respond, a familiar voice shouted from the sidewalk, Nye! I groaned immediately. Grandma Jackie sighed. Speak of trouble. Marcus jogged toward the porch, carrying enough energy to power downtown Detroit. Some people walked places. Marcus arrived places. There was a difference. He bounded up the steps like he was running for office. Nia, he said dramatically. No, you don't even know what I'm about to say. Doesn't matter. It absolutely matters. I pointed at him. Last time you started a conversation like that, you convinced Jalen somebody was hiding treasure under an abandoned laundromat. Marcus crossed his arms. There could have been treasure. There wasn't. There could have been. Grandma Jackie looked over her glasses. There was a raccoon. Marcus pointed at her. An unusually suspicious raccoon. Grandma Jackie rolled her eyes. I laughed so hard I nearly spilled my drink. That was Marcus. Every neighborhood had one person who somehow managed to know everybody, talk to everybody, and accidentally find trouble while looking for something completely unrelated. Marcus was ours. What do you want? I asked. Marcus lowered his voice. I got a lead. I immediately stood. Nope. Nia. Nope. Listen first. Nope. Marcus looked at Grandma Jackie for support. She took another sip of tea. Leave me out of it. You're not even curious? No. Marcus looked genuinely offended. I almost felt bad for him. Almost. What lead? I asked. His face lit up. The old warehouse near the river. I turned around. I'm leaving. Come on. No. Nia. No. I think something weird is happening. I stopped. That sentence had become significantly less funny since everything that happened with Deshaun Briggs. Marcus noticed. His smile faded slightly. Probably nothing, he admitted. Probably. Maybe. I sighed. That was the problem. Detroit had a way of making maybe feel important. Before I could answer, Jalen appeared from nowhere. Literally nowhere. 1 second he wasn't there. The next he was standing beside Marcus looking at his phone. Y'all talking about crime? I groaned. Marcus pointed. See? He gets it. Jalen nodded. I definitely get it. You absolutely don't, I said. The three of us spent another 20 minutes arguing while Grandma Jackie watched like it was a television show. Eventually, Marcus gave up on whatever theory had consumed him this week. For the moment. Which meant the neighborhood was safe. For the moment. Unfortunately, Marcus wasn't done with me. Not even close. By that evening, he'd convinced me to go downtown. His official argument was that I needed to stop acting like an 80-year-old retiree. My argument was that I was 24. His counter-argument was, exactly. Somehow that worked. So now we were walking through Greektown as the city shifted from day into night. Music spilled from bars. People crowded sidewalks. Cars rolled through downtown with windows down and speakers up. The city glowed. Detroit looked good at night. Not perfect, not polished, just alive. There was a difference. Marcus seemed determined to speak to every person we passed. Most people ignored him, some didn't. Unfortunately, those were the ones who encouraged him. 2 hours later, after enough walking to qualify as cardio, Marcus made an announcement. I'm hungry. You've been hungry. I'm extra hungry. What does that even mean? It means we're getting a Coney. That part, at least, made sense. A Detroit night ending at a Coney Island felt less like a decision and more like a law. So we went. The restaurant wasn't packed, just busy enough, people talking, servers moving, silverware clattering, the familiar smell of fries, chili, and grilled onions hanging in the air. Comfort food, Detroit comfort food. Marcus immediately grabbed a booth. I slid into the seat across from him. Then I noticed the woman sitting alone, 2 booths away. Camera bag, laptop, focused expression. She looked annoyed. Not at anyone specifically, just annoyed in general. Meanwhile, a man sat farther down the restaurant staring at editing software on a laptop screen. He looked equally stressed. I didn't think much of either one, at least not yet. Then Marcus spotted them, which meant I was about to think a lot more about them. Oh no, I muttered. Marcus looked at me. What? You got that look. What look? The look. I don't know what you're talking about. You absolutely do. Before I could stop him, he stood and walked directly toward complete strangers. Of course he did. I buried my face in my hands. A moment later, I heard a voice. Excuse me, Marcus, obviously. I looked up. The man with the laptop looked confused. The woman with the camera bag looked suspicious. Reasonable reaction. Marcus held up something tiny between his fingers. An SD card. Either one of y'all missing this? He asked. The man immediately stood. Actually, yeah. Marcus handed it over. The man laughed. Appreciate it. No problem, Marcus replied. This little thing probably got more secrets on it than my cousin's Facebook account. The man chuckled. I doubt that. Nah, Marcus said. You don't know my cousin. The woman laughed despite herself. And just like that, Marcus had done what Marcus always did. Started a conversation. 5 minutes later, all 4 of us were sitting together. I still wasn't entirely sure how it happened. The woman introduced herself first. Tiana Brooks. I shook her hand. Nia. Marcus pointed at himself. Marcus. The man nodded. Malcolm Rivers. Nice to meet y'all, I said. Tiana gave a small smile. You too. Something still seemed off. Both of them kept glancing toward the window, toward the parking lot, like they expected something. Or someone. Eventually, I asked, Y'all okay? Tiana and Malcolm exchanged a look. A long one. Then Tiana sighed. You ever get the feeling you saw something you weren't supposed to see? The table got quiet. Marcus immediately sat up straighter. Of course he did. What happened? He asked. Tiana leaned back. We were down at the Riverwalk earlier. Malcolm nodded. Separate jobs. I'm a photographer, Tiana explained. I'm a videographer, Malcolm added. We know each other professionally. Not friends, Malcolm clarified. Tiana pointed at him. Definitely not friends. Malcolm grinned. I got better footage than you? No, you didn't. I absolutely did. That part felt genuine. For the first time all night, both of them looked relaxed. Then Tiana's expression darkened. There was an event going on. Families, Malcolm said. Food trucks. Music. Kids. Normal stuff. I nodded. So, what happened? Tiana folded her arms. A fight. Marcus immediately leaned forward. What kind of fight? The weird kind, Malcolm said. That wasn't helpful. Apparently, Tiana agreed. She rolled her eyes. What he means is it didn't feel real. Now I was paying attention. What do you mean? Tiana looked at Malcolm. Malcolm looked at Tiana. Then she answered, Everybody knew where the cameras were. A strange feeling settled over the table. I wasn't sure why, but it did. How? Marcus asked. Tiana shook her head. I don't know. Nobody acted angry. Nobody acted surprised. Malcolm nodded. It looked rehearsed. Nobody spoke for a moment. Then Marcus smiled, and I knew exactly what was about to happen. Oh no, I said. What? Tiana asked. Marcus pointed dramatically. I think y'all witnessed a staged event. I buried my face in my hands. Again. We're 5 minutes into this conversation, I said. 6. Marcus, I'm just saying. Malcolm looked thoughtful. That's actually what we started wondering. The smile disappeared from Marcus's face. Now he was interested, really interested, which usually meant trouble. And for the first time that night, I started wondering if maybe the Riverwalk story wasn't just a story. Maybe it was something else. Something bigger? Something we hadn't figured out yet. And somehow, deep in my stomach, I got the feeling we were all about to find out.